underlying idea of non-duality, why its direction is negation, because you are really the affirming agent. Yeah. When you try to affirm yourself, it's really reinforcing an idea that you're not that. Yeah. So you can't go the affirmation route, you go the negation in a sense route. So you, instead of trying to see what you are, you see what you're not. Just that simple. And it's much easier, really, because what you are is unable to be seen by itself, obviously, because you'd always be the seeing. Yeah. So you couldn't be an object to any other seeing if you are the reality. Yeah. So nothing is seeing the seeing, so to speak. So you can't be a seer of that. And so obviously that's that. You would hope it would be that's that. Yeah. Being ourselves reality. Any drive or movement that's looking for that reality must not be ourselves. So why do you do that which seems to have had the approval to be somewhat of you or of you? What are you going to do with that but negate it? Yeah, it's not denying. Denying is different. Denying is a mental activity that when something feels so real to it, it likes to deny it. So it gives it so much reality, it wants to deny it because it's unbearable. Yeah. We have this in addiction. Addiction, one of the strongest defenses that keeps you in without knowing it is denial. Yeah. But negation is not denial. Negation is actually negating the assumed reality of something. That's all. And because it is an assumed reality, that's why it works. Yeah. So basically, you're finally saying something's unreal, and the three little lemons appear, and you win, so to speak, because you were trying to make so much other shit unreal. You finally see that you're unreal, and that's what it's like being. The lemons line up. Yeah. Something pours in. Yeah. Whatever. So the idea, you can use a simple example of in recovery. Recovery, the 12-step model. Recovery has a statement which is given supremacy, which is first. Yeah. And because the program has steps, yeah, first is a very, very important point. Yeah. And it actually is more important than next. So first, it says you got to quit playing God. Yeah. And it has a simple answer. It doesn't work. Yeah. Okay. Now, if you, without knowing it, are under the assumption that you are that which is playing God, yes? Now, you may not have known that, but when you hear it, quit playing God, you don't really look around the room to see who's playing God. It sort of lands on you sooner or later, yes? Because you wake up usually with yourself and it's playing God, so you feel it's you. And of course, from that logic, the only movement that is appropriate to respond to is to stop. Yeah. I got to stop playing God. I get that it doesn't work. So the next thing is stop. Yep. Assuming that you're that which is playing God. And that's the false assumption, because you're not that which is playing God. Yeah. And when you say, I want to stop, doesn't mean it's going to stop. And of course, it's not going to stop because it's mechanical. It doesn't have like, if something occurred, it would stop. It doesn't have that. It's on, and it doesn't have an off. So it just plays God. Yeah. So when you hear, all right, quit playing God, and you make the first, you go with the mental logic, and you vow, I'm not going to play God today. 5 minutes later, it's playing God. Yeah. So it's very frustrating, But then it's incredibly valuable if you see that finally you see you're not that which is playing God. And then quit playing God looks different. And what it looks like is you lose interest in listening to that which is playing God. You hear it because you're awake. So if something is making a noise, you hear the noise. Yeah. But listening is different. Listening is a little bit of an interest that sort of, you know, creates like a tunnel vision on it. Yeah. And then when you do this, you miss all of this. So when it goes like this, you seemingly miss the panoramic. Yeah, it just happens. It's just how the camera works, the head camera. So here you realize I'm not that which is playing God, and then you lose interest in it, because why you had a lot of interest in it, it was because it's you. The you is like a whistle that a lot of things respond to. A lot of the mental processes respond to the whistle of you. If something is presented as you, they go towards it. They emphasize it, they dwell there, they cherish it, they get obsessed around it. They do. So now they have a job before any other mental job. The job is to reinforce the idea of that you. And therefore, the people in the world of just becoming simply awake, not becoming, but becoming awake to that a fact that you're awake, all the dilemmas that happen when people turn up in the awakeness into a path. Yeah. And there was a rebuttal finally, and the rebuttal was non-duality, literally. Non-duality rebutted the affirmation path. Yeah. It just because it saw it didn't work. Yeah. If you try to affirm that you are something, there's a lingering belief that you're not that something. So when you're chanting, you're not a body, I recognize the only thing that's chanting it's not a body is the body identification. What's not a body doesn't chant, it's not a body. It's obviously not having any problem with taking itself to be the body. Something else is. And that something else starts chanting it's not a body, which reinforces the body identification. So yeah. So basically seeing this, that the bastardization of spirituality, becoming paths and all this, that actually was started to be presented as something that fit around the you, not confronted the you, but fitted around. And the you, yes, it has to get bigger or better, or there was an authentic one somewhere, and you'd have to see the falsehood. But it really was what's going to be on the path to God. Most of the time, it's going to be you.
Yeah.
Until and the arriving could go on, and the emphasis is always on you. Yeah, you see?
Reinforcement of you.
It's always reinforcing you. Even the desire not to be you is being used to reinforce you.
Totally.
Yes. So they came up with a rebuttal, which was non-duality. They said, listen, it's not two. Yeah. So what you think is one going on because you see yourself as a body, and you don't see, like, you're not a Siamese twin, which would be unusual. So you see yourself as a body, and that gives you a sense, or an imagined sense of long-lasting, independent, separate entity stuff. You're not. You're really dualism. So you're a subject. You're an object. Yeah. And then then there's a subject, but they're both seen as an object.
Yes.
So when there's subjectivity, the head says it's an object. You're a thing that's awake or conscious. Yeah. And then there's the object that the subject critiques and goes over. And object, as the subject, I told you not to fucking do that. Yes, and then you did it again, and now you're gonna I'm gonna have to critique it for quite a while on your ass. Yes, and you're not gonna go to sleep when you wanted to go to sleep. Yes, because I'm the policeman and you're like the thief. that dualism projects a duality. So if you can't see it here, you can get an intimacy by seeing it out there. So when you see duality, what projects duality is dualism. Yeah. The dualism of us projects a duality. There isn't a world called duality. There's not a planet. Yes. It's, you know what I mean? It's not like Bizarro World in DC Comics. It's not like a Bizarro world. It's just how we see things. Yeah. When the seeing is coming through this, it's how you see things. You see things dualistically. And we don't even see that mostly. I mean, it's like a surprise, just like when a lot of people they're surprised that basically almost every person that speak is in a way is projecting something on someone else. So like when a politician says, we don't want to have that country do that, they're doing the same thing to that country. They're projecting it and like, we're not going to allow you to treat us like we treat you. What? Oh yeah, they would have seen the projection. Yes, and they say it straight faced, and it's unbelievable. They don't get the irony of it, or it's just so weird. They're saying the exact thing that they're doing to someone, that they're going to fortify their defenses for it not to happen to them. So the duality is a way of seeing projected by a dualism. And the dualism is subject object, where there's really only object. It's object object. One of them plays the role of the subject, and the other one plays the role of the object. Yes? Yes. So, what's one to do? Well, the answer was nothing, really. Non duality came up with an answer if because before, what's there to do? There's been tons of shit to do. And it's piled up. And if all the doing in the Zooms of this meeting was like added up, it'd be maybe 300 years of doing. Yeah. So what is there to do? There's a whole lot to do. Well, it's gone far enough in a sense. Doing yourself into being doesn't work. It's like the statement of Zen where you can't use activity to produce stillness. That is going to be activity. Yeah, you can't, if something is playing God and it hears it has to quit playing God and it tries to quit playing God, that's playing God. Yeah. So that which is playing God can never stop playing God, because every movement it did would be an act of playing God. Yeah. The same thing. So the head is just reinforcing the head with the dream of not being the head. It's just more head. Yeah, just goes on and on. So they came up with one which has nothing to do, really. Or like the Course in Miracles says, meditation, contemplation, all this stuff can go on, and it's going to work finally because mind is dreaming it, the big M mind. Yeah, but it's going to probably take a lot of time, and you may got big sores on your ass and bad knees from all the sitting and pranams, whatever space. Yeah, perhaps there's if you're reading this book and listening to the Course in Miracles, says one of the points that we have to offer you is we're going to save you time. Course in Miracles is going to save you time. And you're going to arrive at I need do nothing, maybe without such a huge resume of doing a lot of something. Yeah, but that's going to also work if you hear the message of non-duality. You will have a perfect primer because you are actually the example they're using. The spiritual seeker is the prime example. Yeah, where the non-duality is specifically really directed at that. Like Ramana said, the idea, if you read it, and it's said in a lot of when a lot of people wrote about his teachings, they all have this one statement, which is that presupposing of the non-existent thing being what? An existent thing. and then wanting to get salvation for the existent thing. And then it goes immediately to, and if that's the case, which it is, your spiritual practices. So it's very specific. He's not saying playing baseball or shit like that. He goes right to the specific, your spiritual practices. He does. And he says, your spiritual practices are reinforcing the mistaken idea. How can they destroy it? So this is, if you have the illness, the non-duality is that medicine. Other people can come to it, but it's so much easier if you have a big resume of trying to seek for what you already are. It's that fake house can crumble very quickly hearing non-duality. For others, it may go over your head, but when you've been the lab animal, the rat in the experiments, and then someone tells you the basis of the experiments, you feel a little familiarity to it. You're like, wait a minute. Yes, yeah. So it's the perfect message in a sense for those that were leaning into the spiritual practices, as he just said, because your spiritual practices are reinforcing the mistake. How are they going to destroy the mistake? Yeah. So there you go. So you hear this, and I mean, I sat places. I did. And I remember without changing the basis of this place, the place will be so hostile to that produced effect by a lot of managing and controlling the situation, the circumstances, like a retreat. Yeah. And basically you'll be infected a couple hours after you leave the retreat. The head will just zoom in, and you're the one who was at the retreat. You're the one that yes, and then the only answer is to do more, usually. And that logic leads to something where sooner or later it's going to lead to what's obstructing me from the reality is me. Yeah. And it's going to come to the mental logic that it seems the only way I'm going to arrive at the reality is to be just completely destroyed. Let's slow up that process. Let's make a yogic fashion line. Let me let me sell some incenses at the place because the head will be in a cognitive dissonance. Its idea is the only way I'm going to arrive at reality is to be completely destroyed. And that is giving so much relevance to the head or to the imaginary you. No, what really kills the imaginary you is irrelevance. Irrelevance. Yes. All of its, you know, huffing and puffing and blowing down all your hopeful future houses, spiritual houses, all your past things. It doesn't, nothing gets destroyed. It's all your interest that is giving it its breath. Yes. And when that interest is taken from it, the cheapness of the production is seen through. Just like when I was a kid, for a while, I liked this show, Avengers, and it had this lady, Emma Peel, and this other guy. It was an English thing, and I really dug it, you know? It was, and as a kid, you know, I was totally immersed in it. And then I saw it when I was adult or got older, and the production sucked. They were not in a real car, and they had a fake road. It could have been Brooklyn. It was supposed to be English. Fucking when you looked at the room, there was gaps between where the walls met. It was obviously a stage and all this, and it was like, wow, I saw through the Avengers. I did, and it really deflated a lot about the Avengers when I saw it. This is sort of what it's like, yeah. You've finally been introduced to the message that's going to rebut what you think the message is, yeah, which is you being the seeker, seeking to find. Yeah, it's something's going to rebut that. And the underlying premise is being ourselves reality. Every moment you're looking for reality. You are being yourself reality. Not as you, but you are reality. Yeah.
Yes.
No exemptions, no, you know, but if you do this, no, nothing. It's yeah. So that fundamental, let's say, miscalculation gets confronted with non-duality. And then the stuff that backs up the miscalculation, which usually can keep on growing when you put your little spiritual fertilizer in and everything, it doesn't have problem feeding off of the spiritual activity. Yeah, is now you see it. You see it. It comes. It doesn't blend into the background. It's brought in front into the foreground, and you can see the mass of misunderstandings, like a network of how the misunderstanding did this and da 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 da. Because now you are actually aware of where you used to be aware from. Yeah, where you thought the awareness started, it ain't starting there. It's way, and that which is here cannot get before awareness. Yeah, it can. It cannot become aware. Yeah, it's always going to be on this side of the camera when we are really that side of the camera. We are that where before the projection occurs through the camera. This is like the camera, yeah?
Yes.
The projection of the dreaming comes through here. This is like a dualism wash, and then a duality gets projected. And then we take ourselves to be the thing, which is the object of the dreamt. And now everything we're dreaming is given the ability to affect us because it can bite us in the ass because we have an ass now. Yeah. And then, of course, you want to get out of it, but trying to get out of it is reinforcing the belief that you're actually in it. So the biggest in is out. You are wanting to get out, and all the things that you do to try to get out is the biggest in because you're not in it. Yeah. It's a manufactured in, which is seen from the deluded as out. We're seeing the giant inness of self-centeredness as an out. We're trying, see, it's incredible, it's insane.
It is.
Yeah. So we're trying to get out, and that's why it's not threatened usually, because it's you it's you've never been in, and now you're busy trying to get out, you see? So of course, in a dualistic movement, the wanting to get out reinforces the imagined in. So you make up your own reality in a way. By trying to get out of it every day, you're giving it a reality it never has. You're the only thing that can give it reality. It cannot give itself reality. We are reality. Yeah. We are the dreaming of the dreaming. The dream ain't dreaming the dreaming. The dream isn't giving the meaning to the dreaming. It's the dreaming giving the meaning that we call the dream. Yes? Yes. So reality is in cahoots in a way because the only thing, we have it in recovery. It's an important acronym. It's for fear. It says false evidence appearing real. So FEAR. So, all right, let's look at uh, at that as a verb. So false evidence appears real. It has to appear real to something that's real. Yes, obviously.
Yes.
What? How else could it appear real? If it's false evidence, yeah. So false evidence appears real. That's us. So when we're in this deluded identity as the thing, a lot of false evidence is presented, and it appears real to us.
Yes.
And we give it the life that it has, and they're all causeless effects. But then we have incredible effects that we go through that give it such a meaning of being real, but it's actually a causeless effect. No matter how scared you were about that tiger next to you in the dream, when you wake up, you weren't next to it in the dream. Yes? Yeah. Now we have in the night dreaming, we have a built-in awakening, which is the day. You wake up in the morning, that which was scaring you, maybe it'll last for 5 or so minutes, but it drops with no effort on your part. You're not going, that wasn't a tiger, that wasn't a tiger. You know it wasn't a tiger. Yes. So you don't have to chant as you're driving to work, that was a tiger. No, you know it was only a tiger because of the condition of what? Dreaming. Yeah, so here it is. This is just a bigger production of it.
Oh, yeah.
And we're sort of in this one, and we believe we're out of the other one. We're out of the night dreaming, but we don't realize we're believing we're in this one. And we're trying to get out so much. And that out is given the reality to the in. Yeah. So, and then that which you were never in is now christened to be the one that's getting out, self. Self that you were never in is the one that really wants to get out. Ooh, why is that? Yeah, because that's how it grasps a reality. Yeah, it gets a sense of being real by us as reality, seeing it this way. Yeah, yeah. So the biggest in is an out, all the out. Yeah. Because you can't get out of what you're not in. See, that's the thing. That's why everything fails. Everything fails. All the attempts to get out fail. I mean, you can shoot incredible heavy duty coke and you feel for 5 or 35 seconds or something, you're out, but you're not. You've shot yourself in. Really? Yeah. You come down like a rock back in. Yeah, usually greeted by police and then going to a hospital. And then you're really wanting to get out. Of what you now made to be in. No, these people that believe, we had it the other day. What about manifesting and creating? You're doing that right now. Yeah. Don't, don't mimic it by the acting, the actor. Don't mimic it. You're doing it right now. You're manifesting and creating or making up tons of shit all day. So, and then there could be a small size where you think I'm manifesting. I'm manifesting money and this and that. Well, while there's a much larger uh, like activity of that, a much grander way, where if you could get a sense of that, humility probably would be very wise. Yeah, humility would be wise. Yeah. So uh, so you can't get out of what you're not in, and you can't get into what you're not out of. So you can't get into reality because you're not out of it, and you can't get what out of something because you're not in it. Yeah. It's all like no matter how many times the hand is put in the glove, it never becomes the glove. There's always a distinction. Now, the hand may forget that distinction, but the distinction is there nonetheless. So the hand can take itself to be the glove, but it never became the glove, never will, never was. Yes? But it can take itself to be the glove. And when it does, the glove becomes its interpretation here. And if we used to do a story, we used to use this story about being in another planet, another dreaming, let's say, where you only had one sense, really, and that was the sense of touch. So that was the dominant way you grokked everything. Yeah. So in the scripture of that place, they had their description of heaven was like touching 1,000 petals infinitely of rose petals. You know what I mean? So it was all based on touch. And so there you are, and you're practicing and you want to get to that heaven, but you're taking yourself to be a glove, and that glove is a crude glove. it's not very sensitive. It's like a working glove, yeah. So whatever you feel feels crude or rough.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, so when you have a description of how soft it is, there's a sense of knowing that because you are
Yeah.
able to feel softness, but you're not. It's not working because everything you feel is interpreted through the glove, and everything is interpreted as rough.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's frustrating because there's a sense of something, yet it's not triggering, the softness. So you can only go with a conception of it's
Yeah.
soft and then write a book and have become a fundamentalist. It's soft, but there's no, it hasn't been a real feeling of the thousand petals or even one. Yeah. So what's there to do? Well, if you see you're not the glove, then the interpretation of the glove won't be the only uh, communication you have. You may feel the roughness of the glove from a very soft place, the hand. Yes. Yeah, finally. And then for suddenly you're not sentenced to only live through the glove's interpretation, though the glove will tell you its interpretation. Yes,
Oh,
but
yeah.
now you're feeling it as if it's a naked hand a lot. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And this is what happens. So, and when it happens, you were never a glove.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like you were a glove and you overcame the gloveness and now you become a hand. No, it's all, this is the non-duality message, being ourselves reality. So being ourselves the hand, no matter what. So when you have a sudden awakening, it's not as if the glove turned into a hand. The sudden awakening was something that was always realized. Handness, yeah.
Yeah.
And it smacks it. When something whacks you, it's going to tell you that sooner or later. It's going to tell you it's always been this way because it is
It is.
always that way. Yeah. So now there's a distinction. And then the emphasis can be shift where that which was unsuspected gets to be very, very familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the shift changes the whole perspective of the place.
Yeah.
Yeah. Without having to do all the heavy work of changing the place.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, the place goes on as it's going on, yet you're traveling a lot lighter through it. Not based on it changing, but seeing it differently.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So the dream, yeah, people, they're in a dream and they think they can have a better dream, but there's really yeah, maybe there can be a real relief from the dream itself, not getting a
Yeah.
better dream or a greater dream or, yes, yeah, just see maybe there's something better than a dream in a way. Who knows? I mean, yeah, yeah. So, yep. So I haven't had that story in a while, the glove thing. But that's the feel. We're feeling through something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or if you could see what's going on, you would see the cocoon that you're looking through.
Yes.
You're looking through it so you don't see it. But if you were moved or you weren't so established here and you could just fall back, you would see that you're walking around with a cocoon sort of wrapping around you of terminal uniqueness. And you have a lot of, judging of everything else, but you're not seeing that, which is causing how you judge and everything. Yes. Yeah. So the non-duality allows, because the premise is you're something other than where you usually start, which is at that the camera seems to be and the tripod is where you start from, but you can see that because you didn't start from there. Yeah, you're before it,
Yeah.
really, literally. And once you see it, uh, you can't not see it in a lot of ways. Yes. Now the head will get in the business of continue trying to keep you in a state of not knowing what you know, but you know it. Yeah, there's a knowing of it, and the head wants to not know it. Yeah, and it really wants to not know it. And if you keep relying on the head and listening to its station, you may fall back into the belief that you're not knowing it. But there's a knowing it that's always there. And the head doesn't want to know that. There's a knowing it, and the head doesn't want to know it.
The head just wants to survive. It'll do anything to do this.
Well, it wants the new to the knowing it.
Yeah.
It doesn't mind if it can rush to the position of a knower of it, it likes that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It wants to be a knower of the knowing, but it doesn't want the knowing. Because the knowing would shed light on the false knower. And that's not, and of course, if there's a system and it's programmed to reinforce to survive as that system, it has to have a lot of like if the lights get too bright, they're turned off. Yeah. And
Upkeep, a lot of upkeep.
you have to. And so basically, like in the head, if you notice it, coming out of addiction and then getting into recovery, you would realize it would like forget a miracle in like 15 minutes. A very big thing, which you would think would take a little longer to forget. It could forget it in about 15 minutes. And then it would keep remembering a seeming slight of 50 years ago. So it was so obvious. There was a giant bias in the interpretation and its broadcast. Yeah. Let's no bueno with the miracles. Let's stay in the stagnant pool of grievance and shit like that. Yeah. So you have to being sort of the one, there, not the one, but there, you start realizing, wow, this yeah, you get suspicious, a very healthy suspicion. Yes. Because there's so many holes that reveal its true nature, which is agitated. Uh, it becomes so obvious after a while. If you watch it, if it ever arrives at peace, it gets agitated about it. Yeah, it can't. You would think if it would meet peace, it would rest, but when it meets peace, it gets agitated. You should see it when you used to meditate. You'd be meditating for hours, and then you get into a really nice groove, and of course it would say, "Did I leave the oven on?" or something like that. It would immediately want you to get away. Yet the intent supposedly was to arrive at that space, but you'll sit there for the hours you're not arriving. Once you arrive, it's like the head says, "You got to get up." Because its nature's agitated. Yeah. So if it meets something that's still, it's gonna blink first. It can't be still for long. It just can't. It's agitated. That's its nature. So it's in a the glass it's in is moved, yeah, dualistically. So there's desire and aversion. So there's hating and wanting. And it's like the engine of the slinky. Yeah, the slinky just goes, so you want to become something that you believe you're not, and you want to unbecome something that you believe that you are as this action figure. And it just goes on, and it feeds on itself. So it renews the energy by the agitation. Yeah. Be still would be like the death of it, really. Yeah. So it has to keep moving like sharks, they have to keep moving. If they stop, that could be it. And like the whales just flip them over and they go into like this psychosis where they just stop moving. It's just they're alive. They just flip the shark over and and before it's always moving. Yeah. And the way to handle it is when it involuntarily stops, they flip it over and they stop the shark. So yeah. So here Yeah. So what the head promises, it can't deliver.
No.
I'm really gonna behave when we get there. No, it doesn't work. No. So yeah, I feel like you share like one example of it and it'll trigger your own ones. Yeah, because you've been on this leash for a long time. So all the rashes and yeah, yeah, you can tell that you've been ridden or directed, or yeah, it becomes obvious. In recovery, it's very obvious that you're driven, you're not the driver. Yes?
Yes.
So, some forces come in and you have no defense, and then you're used for transportation. And in this world, you're the one that goes to jail. Yeah, in this world of things, they always pin it on the thing doing it, but the thing gets moved by no thingness. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like greed. Have you ever met greed? You've met a lot of greedy people, but you never met greed. But greed is coming through many, many places coming in. And they move people to do behaviors, but the people aren't the doer of the behavior. They're moved by greed. Yeah. So something moves you, and then, but in this world, it's just every movement of the stick figure is the cause of things when it's ridiculous. Yeah, most people are completely out to lunch. They are most of the day. We're out to lunch a lot of the time. Yeah, we're being moved and things are this and that, and there you are sitting on your little solitary throne as the great me. You're you're just getting moved and moved all over the game board. And then you have a narrative to try to explain it after you show up at Baltic Place or Boardwalk. There's always a story. Yeah. 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 So, yep. Yeah. Does it get any better? Yeah, it does. Does it look like it could get better? Probably not through the glasses you're looking through, but it does. Uh, yeah. Are you gonna change completely? No, you're not. The action figure has its program. It can get a little better. Some things can get dimmed, other things can get lit up more, but that's not the goal. Because that if that's a goal, it's a very temporary one. You're gonna pass away.
Yeah.
Body's gonna end. And it's not like you were a good Boy Scout or Girl Scout and you have a lot of medals and shit. There's no uniform left. The body's gone. You don't have a gold star or a silver star. It's all kaput, like it never happened. Yeah, so forgive me for what I did today. I had no understanding. Really. It's just the way it goes. But to try to scar yourself with stuff that's like invisible ink, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like retelling a story or whatever, this and this and this and this and this. It doesn't matter. Nothing, it's all skin deep. Nothing sinks in. You're invulnerable in a way because you're not the thing you think you are.
Right.
Yeah. So hey, let's open up the before dinner. We have a dinner. Yeah, look at these guys. Yeah. We go we go to the Tenderloin, which is a heavy area, and we pick some people up. And then even animals, and then we feed them, and they have to listen to Satsang.
We have to listen first.
Oh, of course. If you started eating, you would leave, even though the bus doesn't come till after, yeah. Because I need an audience, yeah,
We're hungry.
yeah, so, yeah, some are in worse conditions than others, yeah. They're going into cold turkey. They're hoping it's a sandwich, but no. All right, well, we'll start sharing. What are we gonna do? Are you gonna just be somber and you gotta laugh? This place is unbelievable. All the huffing and puffing and then it's gone. You work your muscles out for 30 years and it still goes down. Gravity always wins. Fucking, you feel like you've completely changed something and it bleeds through again and again. It's amazing. No one takes you as seriously as you do every second of the day.
Yeah.
Every second of the day, no one in this world takes you as seriously as you do.
So true.
Every second. From the minute you wake up to the minute you go to bed. Nothing wrong with that. That's the system. The system is self-centered. It's quite obvious. Yeah, you're sitting in my yard and you're thinking the people next door, they have their own world. They're making fucking whatever. Who knows? Yeah, they just I must I'm like the thinnest, most transparent idea that they have during the day. Maybe because I'm parked in front of their house or something. That's it. Yeah. Yes. So yeah, I mean, all right. In Buddhism, they call it cherishing of self. Cherishing is an interesting word. It's different than I like it or something. Cherishing is, ooh, like Gollum was cherishing the ring. Yes, look at what that did him. You're cherishing, ooh, yeah. Ooh, Paul. Uh, all right. Well, anyone? Uh, yeah. Remember humbly, please, the biggest in is out. Yeah. When you're not in something and you're trying to get out of it all day, that's the biggest in, is the out. Yeah, you see it? The message is you're not in what you think you need to get out of. Yeah. It doesn't give us another strategy of how to get out. No, you're not in. Yeah. And the biggest in of what you're not in is trying to get out of it. That is.
Yeah.
That is the action that reinforces it the most, is trying to get out of it. Because it can't reinforce itself. You're not in. So in duality, when you go one way, it gives a meaning to the other way. So when you're trying to get out, it's actually giving a large meaning to an in. You don't notice it, but it is. So you're thinking you're getting out of something, but really the something you're trying to get out of, you're not in. So the out is the biggest in. Yes, yes. See, we're not only in duality, we're the making of a lot of duality. So we make a lot of duality out of believing we're in something that we're not in, and believing that we're out of something that we're not out of. we make a dualistic it's like a food staple for the head. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right, there's millions of ways people try to get out of what they're not in. It's huge. It's probably launched more ships than anything else. Yeah. I'm fucking in this dilemma and I want to get out. Yes, but that which you believe is in, you're not. So that which is believing it's in something and it wants to get out is believing it's in something, but you're not that which believes you're in. Yes? So it's not minimizing the effects that can produce because they are strong, because this is a subjective experience. But the fact you're not that which believes it's in something that and therefore has a drive to get out.
Yes.
Yeah. And you're also not that which is out of something and therefore has a drive to get in. And you can see it with the example of the books about how to get into the moment. How to get into the moment was a way of reinforcing that you were out of the moment.
Yes.
It was. It was giving great meaning to being out of the moment. That being out of the moment could never produce because you're not out of the moment.
Never.
But being not out of the moment, wanting to get out of the moment, get into the moment was the greatest giver of meaning to out of the moment. Yeah?
Yeah.
This is the non-duality effort. This is what it negates. This is a fundamental mental gymnastics that if you saw it not as the performer, but from the audience, you'd see it's like in a fucking 12-point pretzeling or something. It's really unbelievable how it got twisted up with all this shit. But the basic pattern that was just reknitted is trying to get out of what you're not in and trying to get into what you're not out of. That's the pattern. And then it's been convoluted in so many ways, it's mutated, but really that's the case. Yeah. So you're not that believes it's in, and it's not, you're not that wants to get out. That's the good. In that movement, there's not gonna be a great relief. Yeah, it's gonna reinforce. Yeah. So to be still to that movement is recognizing you're not that. That's what you recognizing, you recognize it from being still. You're like, no, not that. Yeah. So from this, at that point, I have never spent a moment trying to get into a moment, ever, in 20 something years, because I don't believe I can be out of a moment. I just don't. There's no fucking way. In this seeming event, without me, there's no event.
Right.
Yeah. So really, so basically, the salesman comes, I'm not buying, I'm not buying the premise that, man, you are really out of the moment. You better, the only solution you've got is to get into the moment. I think there's a prior solution. I can't be out of the moment. What? Yeah. Because if you think you can be in the moment, you're really thinking you can be out of the moment. Because again, it's the dualistic. You don't, maybe you understand, maybe you don't. When you're thinking in a dualistic way, where the weight's going, you may not know. So when you're thinking one thing, the weight is going to the other point. Yeah, like when you're thinking you can get in, yeah, you're never going to get out of that. Yeah. It's like we've been on a seesaw. And so when someone shares and it hits, it's familiar. We just haven't been able to give it a sense of something, but you know it, you feel it. You feel like when I go this way, something has a momentum that way. Wow. Yeah. 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 It's like when I used to see, like most people what they're moving towards is there's also an emphasis of what they're moving away from. Yeah. So they're moving away from some belief that they're not good or whatever, and then they're moving towards being like a workaholic because they got to keep proving that they deserve something. Yeah. And the answer isn't in that. The answer is that there's a belief that they're a loser or something. Yes. So they're trying to move away from that, and it looks like from the naked eye they're moving towards a lot of stuff, but the real emphasis is moving away. And of course, it's not true. Yeah, yeah. Not because they may have loss of self-esteem, but they're not a person. They're still, no matter what condition the thing you believe you're in it is, you're not in it. It doesn't mean it's if it has great conditions or terrible conditions, you're still not in it. Yeah. You're not of it, let's say. Yeah. So this is like a solution. Uh,
Kind of like an in order to action,
hmm?
and in order to move away from one thing to gain another.
Yes. So yes, but when you move one way, the other way gets emphasized.
Totally.
Yeah, and a lot of people, and there's usually more power in the movement of what we're not knowing. Yeah. So basically, when I wanted to be on top of my health, I was actually making myself sick because I got obsessed with my intestinals. I was just walking around trying to get in there and think how they're doing. It was insane. So I realized I'm going to do a lot better sending Paul around the corner for a couple of hours than if I have send Paul to get the medicine I need. I'm going to get killed by it. It's going to be like a poison. Yeah. So, and I had a couple of those, and it was, I sort of got the principle of it sooner or later. Yes? And then you can move on. Yeah. If you see a couple of movements of the rubber band of the duality, you may, in a sense, grok duality. You may grok it. You may get the movement. So then it's so whatever the movement looks like doesn't matter. You know the pattern of the movement. So you know that, yeah, I'm trying to get out of what I'm not in or trying to get into what I'm not out of. Yes. Yeah, in all the ways, you can become a master of describing every way, but the pattern is the key. Yeah, this was good. Yes, yeah. Yeah. And then you're here and whatever. You had a bad day, good day, whatever. Yeah, they're all going to be erased. What?
Never not now.
No, for some person it was a bad day, and to me it may have been a great day. Matters who you're listening to. I'd rather not listen to either of them. All right. Well, uh, that's that. Let's any sharing question, whatever. A flavor gets dispensed in satsang, yes? Flavor. You taste it and there's a recognition. There's a feeling, a sense. Yeah. Yeah. Then obviously maybe there's thought. Yeah. The sense is the key, the trigger. Yeah. I wouldn't question the sense. I'd question the thoughts that come after. Yeah. And at least know they're not yours. And they're just a system trying to reinforce the system. Literally. You can't blame it. That's the way it goes. They've never been your thoughts. You're the only one that thought they were yours. The thoughts are very clear that they're not yours. The thoughts know who's paying the bills, and it's not you. Yeah, the thoughts are, yeah. They have a different agenda. Like all those guys in 2001, they thought Hal was on their side, but Hal had been given a different mission, and it had nothing to do with reinforcing the humans. So yeah, that's my thought. No need. All right. If no one has anything, we're gonna go. Yeah, just just look at everyone, and so happy to see you all. Kerry, as always. It's incredible. Kerry came from Minnesota. Now he's got a nice little hacienda in Hawaii, helping people breathe better and fucking have a better physical existence. Look at that, man. It's awesome. He just went for it. And yeah, Mike Clark. What can I say about Mike Clark? I learned something. He's been married 3 times.
So far.
Yeah.
It was very successful.
Knowing
because
Mike, I would have expected to see his wives here.
It was very successful because it kept me from doing a 4th.
Yeah, a 4th, that's right. Yeah. Stephen Mack, upon having never left. Fantastic. Yeah. Brian Crow. Nice to see you, Brian.
Hey, Paul, a
Yeah.
month or 2 ago, you said something about going to Joshua Tree.
Yes.
Is that still
Yeah.
on the plans?
Yeah, it'll be in January. We're just gonna finalize the dates and then we'll put it up there. Yes. I think pretty sure we'll be down there. As long as, I didn't get swallowed up by a chasm or anything. Yeah.
Great. Thanks, Paul. Thanks for
Yeah,
everything.
gonna do it, and we'll be there for 3 days or something, and we'll have people come over. Yeah, be nice. Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Yep. Sean in NorCal, nice to see you, bro. Gary, as always. Oh man, in Placerville. Alan Olson. Yes, Shiva, LA. James Olson. Ernie. Shannon. That's an incredible window. It looks so long from your screen. Yeah. Wow. That would be a drag to have to raise that curtain up. It's like freaking, like it goes quite far. Chris H. Chris, the season's revving up, bro. You got to put on that red jumpsuit and just play your role, your seat assignment. John R. Nice to see John, a friend of ours in Australia. Always a pleasure, bro. Yeah. Anu, as always. Yeah. Clifford. Oh, Chiang Mai, Clifford. Very nice. It's getting nice in Chiang Mai, eh? Yeah, November, December.
Yeah, it's cooling down a bit now.
Yeah, I used to go there in November a lot. Stay
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
It'd be like the same day, but getting a little warmer every day. Yeah, but the same day. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Eric, SoCal. Nice to see you, bro. I know, there you can donate a vehicle. Remember that, Eric. Yeah,
I'll keep it in mind.
all right. Thank you. I'll keep putting it in your mind. Darshan, nice to see you. Thank you for your invitation, Darshan. We don't know yet anything about anything right now. I'll see what happens. Yeah. Topher, nice to see Topher. He's like a comet, came back after a couple of years. Nice to see you, bro. I don't know if I can get to the other page. I cannot. But maybe I can. Let me go see the view. No. Well, listen, everyone. Thank you. We'll be here tomorrow. Tomorrow is Thursday, recovery, 10:30 Pacific time. Yeah, that loving presence expresses itself in this group conscience. Very nice. Thank you, Ernie, everybody, Shannon.
Thank you, Paul.
Yes, you're welcome. More than welcome.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks.